The bus pulled away in a plume of snow, leaving Kevin alone at the edge of a cul-de-sac that didn't remember him. Houses blinked with warm yellow lights, candy canes lined frozen lawns, and blow-up Santas bobbed in slow-motion seizures as the wind picked up. It was Christmas Eve. Somewhere, the world was singing. Here, it was silent. Kevin McCallister stepped into the street like he'd never left it. His boots crunched the ice-stitched pavement, duffel bag slung over one shoulder, hoodie pulled tight. The snow came down in sheets now, as if the sky was trying to erase the town before midnight. No one had shoveled. No kids played in the yards. The entire neighborhood had the stillness of an old photograph. Pretty, but wrong. Too quiet. He stopped in front of the house. It wasn't his anymore, not technically. After the fire last Halloween and the bodies that followed, the place had been condemned, sold, rebuilt, flipped, then mysteriously abandoned again within 6 months. They said it was haunted. Kevin knew better. The McCallister house sat like a shell, gutted and staged, cleaned of memory but full of ghosts. Its windows were lit from within by Christmas lights on automatic timers. A plastic wreath clung to the door. The snowman in the yard wore a scarf that looked too familiar. Kevin stared up at it all for a long moment, then walked around back. The kitchen window still had a crack in the frame where he once wedged a BB gun to shoot Buzz's forehead from the treehouse. He smiled without smiling. With a sharp twist of his multi-tool, the latch popped. He slid the window open, climbed inside, and landed quietly on the floor. Inside smelled like lemon cleaner and stale drywall. Not a single picture on the walls. No dog hair. No furniture indentations in the carpet. Just space where memories used to be. He dropped his bag in the corner and began walking the perimeter like a soldier clearing a ruin. Every door checked, every closet cracked, every room exactly as he remembered, and not. Upstairs, the attic door was sealed shut. He didn't open it. Downstairs, the basement light flickered even when turned off. He left it alone. In the garage, he found what he needed. Nails, spare lumber, an old snowblower missing a wheel. He rolled it inside. By midnight, the living room had been rearranged. Couch barricading the fireplace. Tripwires looped along baseboards. Kitchen knives wedged between couch cushions like landmines. He was building again, but this wasn't for burglars. Across town, Harry and Marv were freezing their asses off behind the local mall. "This is the dumbest heist we've ever pulled," Harry muttered, jiggling the padlock on the Santa's workshop donation bin. "That's not true," Marv said, blowing into his hands. "Remember the gas station dressed as pilgrims? That one worked. We got cash and free pies. We got tackled by a 6th grader dressed as Sacagawea." Harry stopped picking. "Okay, that was a fluke." The lock finally clicked open. Inside, a velvet sack filled with envelopes and small jewelry boxes. Marv grinned. Merry freaking Christmas. They didn't hear the bells at first. Too faint, too distant. Then came the whisper of metal on tile. The soft sound of a gloved hand brushing a candy cane off a plastic display shelf. When they turned, he was there. At the end of the mall corridor beneath the fake North Pole archway. Tall, thin, pale-faced, silent. Art the Clown. He didn't move. Just raised one hand in a lazy wave. Fingers stiff, almost mechanical. Marv stepped back. "What the hell is that?" Harry squinted. "One of those performance clowns. Ignore him." "Is he smiling?" Art tilted his head, slowly. The lights behind him flickered. Marv's voice cracked. "I don't like this." "Then run." They did. And when they looked back, he hadn't followed, not yet. Back in the McCallister house, Kevin placed the final trap. A sharpened pipe mounted above the stairwell, rigged to swing when triggered by a pressure plate. He tested the tension once, twice. The snow outside had stopped. His breath slowed. Then came the knock. Not the doorbell. A single knock. Then another. Lower this time. Like it came from beneath the house. Kevin froze, knife in hand. The third knock came from the second floor. He moved silently, pressing his back to the wall, eyes on the stairs. And then the basement light turned on. No footsteps, no creaking, just light. He didn't move. Then the kitchen window opened behind him. Kevin spun, blade raised. Two figures stumbled through the frame and crashed to the floor. "Jesus Christ," Harry yelled, kicking over the trash can. This is his house, I told you." Kevin blinked. "Harry," he said flatly. Marv sat up, blinking through snow-crusted lashes. Kevin didn't lower the knife. The three stared at each other, snow melting on the tile. Then Kevin said, "Lock the door. Barricade the hallway. You're staying." "What?" Harry barked. "He's coming," Kevin whispered. And somewhere outside, beyond the walls of childhood and memory, Art the Clown stood beneath the flickering street lamp, waving. The snow didn't fall anymore. It simply hung in the air, weightless and dead, like everything else in the neighborhood. Time stretched, lights flickered. Somewhere, faint carols echoed over broken speakers, half melted in the static of a world that forgot how to be joyful. Inside the house, Kevin stood in the center of the living room, arms crossed, eyes fixed on the door like a general awaiting a siege. Marv and Harry stood behind the couch, pale and shaking, eyes darting from the rigged ornaments dangling by piano wire to the snowblower blade mounted to a ceiling fan with duct tape. "What the hell is all this?" Harry whispered. "Insurance," Kevin said. "This is insane," Marv muttered, pulling a stray nail from the heel of his boot. "You're insane." "You broke into my house," Kevin said, not looking at them. Harry scoffed. "You're 12. I'm 13. "Congratulations. You ever think about therapy?" Kevin didn't respond. He just tightened the final tripwire and tested the spring-loaded bear trap built from two sawhorses and his father's old golf spikes. The house was a war zone of Christmas colors and sharp edges, strings of lights wired to shatter glass, stockings filled with broken ornaments, a sugar cookie tray balanced on top of a heat coil. It was madness, or genius, or both. Harry lit a cigarette with shaking hands. "So what, we just wait?" Kevin nodded. "He comes when it's quiet." "How do you know?" "Because he's already been here." Marv leaned forward. "Wait, what?" Kevin pulled back the curtain. The front yard was empty except for footprints, one set, straight to the door, but none leaving. "He's watching," Kevin whispered. "He wants the show." Harry exhaled slowly. "You know what I miss? Jail. Jail had food." The clock ticked. At 12:01 a.m., the power surged. Every Christmas light in the house blinked twice. Once, twice. Off. Then came the knock. This time not on the door, on the window, on the second floor, then the basement, then inside the walls, like he was everywhere at once, then silence. Harry raised his pistol. "I'm gonna shoot that freak." Kevin grabbed his arm. "No, that's what he wants. Guns break the tension. You give him fear, he gives you a finale." Marv was sweating through his jacket. "I want my mom." Then the back door creaked open, slowly. A chill rolled in, bringing with it the smell of wet paint and peppermint. Kevin flipped the switch. The hallway lit up like Times Square, strobing lights, a recorded message playing from the talkboy. "Merry Christmas, you filthy animal." Art stepped into the hallway, dragging something behind him, a red sack, the same velvet sack the Wet Bandits had stolen from the donation bin. Harry raised the pistol again, this time without hesitation. He fired once. The sound cracked the air. The sack dropped, but Art didn't flinch. He looked down at his shoulder, red bloomed through his shirt like a painted flower. Then he looked back up and smiled, a slow, deliberate smile. Then he clapped, silent mime-like clapping. Marv whimpered, and then the hallway exploded. Kevin's traps activated in sequence. Marbles, nails, swinging barbed wreaths, even the mounted snowblower blade, which spun loose from the fan and screamed down the hallway like a buzzsaw. It hit something. Art staggered just once, then disappeared behind the smoke. Kevin bolted, dragging the bandits toward the kitchen. They reached the pantry, slamming the door shut behind them. Kevin bolted it with a screwdriver and threw a shelf in front. "Is he dead?" Marv asked. Harry breathed hard. "No, he's laughing. What the hell kind of..." Then the laughter stopped. So did the lights. Kevin activated the emergency backup, 3 flashlights taped to wine bottles. "Plan B," he said. "What's Plan B?" Harry snapped. Kevin opened the pantry's floor hatch. Below, a crawl space filled with wiring, paint cans, mouse traps, a space heater, and a full string of C9 Christmas bulbs. "We blow the house," Kevin said. "You what?" "I mean metaphorically, mostly." Then the sound returned, louder this time. Not footsteps. Not knocking. Bells. Dozens of tiny sleigh bells ringing out in random rhythms. Kevin's eyes widened. He's everywhere. The door burst open. They scattered. Art emerged, face half lit by the flickering flashlights, dragging a candy cane sharpened into a shiv. Kevin threw a tin of flour at him, blinding him temporarily, then kicked a switch. Fireworks, hidden in the fireplace, ignited and shot across the room in screaming arcs. Art ducked. Harry fired again. Marv screamed and ran into the bathroom, slamming the door behind him. The entire house glowed with red and green chaos. Kevin dove under the table, pulled a trip line, and watched as Art stepped directly into a slick of honey spread across the floor. His feet went out from under him. He crashed into the Christmas tree. Kevin grabbed a sharpened stocking hook and charged, but Art caught him. With impossible speed, the clown rose from the floor, caught Kevin's wrist mid-swing, and stared directly into his eyes. Everything stopped. Kevin saw himself reflected in Art's eyes. A boy with no home, no safety, no laughter. Just traps. Art smiled. Kevin dropped the hook and ran. The battle turned into a blur, traps snapping, walls collapsing, paint cans swinging in wild arcs. The Wet Bandits regrouped, grabbing kitchen knives and broken curtain rods. Together, the 3 of them fought their way out of the house, but they were bleeding. Kevin's leg was slashed. Harry was missing 2 fingers. Marv wouldn't stop muttering about a red sack with faces inside. They made it to the street. The snow had started again. Kevin looked back at the house. No movement. Just lights blinking. Then Art stepped onto the porch, blood running down his arms, and waved, not to them, to someone behind them. The snow came down harder now, soaking through clothes, skin, and silence. Kevin knelt behind a half-destroyed snowbank at the edge of the cul-de-sac, his breath coming in bursts, his knife clutched like a prayer. Harry leaned beside him, pale and shaking, blood on his coat and scarf. Marv huddled behind a bush, whispering to himself, "We made it. We made it. He's gone." But Kevin didn't believe that. Art the Clown didn't leave. He simply waited, behind walls, beneath stairs, inside cracks of light where people forgot to look, and now, the house behind them, once Kevin's fortress, now a broken wound of blinking lights and torn garlands, stood quiet again, like nothing had happened. Kevin stared at it, his jaw locked. "We need to keep moving," he said. Harry wiped his nose. "Where? There's nowhere left." "My school." "Kid, he'll follow. But he wants the stage, he wants the audience, he's not done. Not until the curtain falls." Marv looked up. "What if the curtain's us?" Kevin didn't answer. Somewhere in the distance, faint music began to play. A warped music box version of Silent Night, slowing, skipping, repeating. Kevin stood, and then the headlights appeared. A single pair, creeping through the snow like ghosts. A black car, sleek, rental. It stopped at the end of the street. Kevin froze. The car door opened. A familiar voice. "Kevin?" His mother stepped out first. Kate McCallister. Her boots crunched the snow. Her eyes darted around the neighborhood, confused. In her arms, a wrapped gift, silver and red. Behind her, Peter stepped out, arms crossed from the cold. He looked up at the house, his brows furrowed. "Something's not right," he said. Kate moved forward slowly. "Kevin?" Kevin tried to scream. His mouth opened, but no sound came. His legs refused to move. He was stuck in the snow, stuck in the moment, watching everything fall apart again. The front door creaked open. Kate stopped. The porch light blinked. And there he was, Art the Clown, standing perfectly still in the doorway of the McCallister house, arms outstretched like a stage performer after the final bow. The porch lights flickered red and green behind him. Wrapped garland dangled like torn ribbon. Snow fell in waves around him, and in one hand, a stocking dripping from the other. He waved. A slow, deliberate wave. Kate's eyes widened. Her mouth opened in horror. Then she screamed, loud enough to shake windows, loud enough to echo down the street. Kevin looked away, and the lights on the house blew out, one by one, until only the darkness remained. The music box keeps playing. The wind howls. Then silence. Morning crept in pale and soundless. Snow had covered everything. Driveways, mailboxes, tire tracks, leaving the whole neighborhood looking brand new, as if the night had never happened. Only the McCallister house broke the illusion. Its front door hung open. The Christmas lights still blinked on and off in strange patterns, bright against the gray dawn. A patrol car rolled to a stop out front. 2 officers stepped out, boots sinking into the drift. They spoke quietly, their voices lost in the wind. One of them lifted the yellow tape from his bag, threading it across the porch rail. Inside the open doorway, there was no movement, just a toppled tree, shattered ornaments, and the faint smell of smoke. Somewhere deeper in the house, a radio whispered static where music should have been. From across the street, a neighbor watched, robe pulled tight, her breath clouding the air. "That poor boy," she murmured to no one. The officers closed the door halfway, leaving the lock broken. The lights inside flickered once more, then went dark. Snow began to fall again, quietly filling the prints they'd left behind. Far down the road, the wind pushed a small paper flyer across the asphalt. A missing person's notice. Kevin's school photograph smiling faintly beneath the headline. The paper tumbled until it caught against a pair of black boots. A figure stood at the end of the street, motionless, watching. The flyer fluttered once, then stopped moving. The figure turned and walked toward the highway, leaving only footprints that the snow swallowed almost instantly. Silent Night plays softly from somewhere you can't see.